welcome to another illustrious episode of Grip the Grain. I am your host, Big Kunta.
And Headhunter James.
And we are gathered here today again, so graciously, with the Doc Sauce, Stephen Dockler.
I'm really glad we're sticking with that because that's ridiculous.
I mean, you're kind of a fan favorite after one episode.
That's valid. It makes sense.
Makes more sense than the fucking name, the Doc Sauce.
Well, what I'm saying.
And that's how we start our show.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I like it.
Oh, I mean, I like it.
Every time you order Chinese food, what do you get the most of?
Sriracha.
Chinese food?
Where are you ordering food from?
I don't even think they have sriracha in Chinese restaurants.
Probably not.
Nah. You get mostly Doc sauce.
Soy sauce?
It's not Doc sauce. It's duck sauce.
It's duck sauce. Yeah, it's not Doc
Please
sauce.
tell me you didn't go 35 years of your life thinking,
The expression on his
sauce.
face right now is fantastic.
damn.
You actually thought it was called Doc Sauce.
Yeah, because ducks don't make sauce.
I mean, they don't make tape either, but like,
True.
It's duck sauce.
yeah, it's duck sauce. I assume it's like supposed to go with duck or something.
I thought it was a family recipe that we've...
Italian.
Well,
sorry,
I mean,
Jews from Jews.
You're
from,
Jewish from, and your family's from New York, right? So
It's
I mean,
kosher.
I mean, it's like the only thing that's open on Christmas is Chinese restaurants.
So, for everybody listening, we are a few glasses in. Game one. A shout out to the Miami Heat. They just
Get it done, boys.
won against Milwaukee round 2
Yep.
in the playoffs,
And they were down by 11 at one point. Like that's
they were down.
good.
They were down 40-27 at the end of the first quarter. Mm-hmm. I mean, we got 7 days of rest. They played. Milwaukee played 2 days ago,
okay.
so they kind of just it was another game for them.
Yeah.
Except obviously with a better opponent. But yeah, it's a good start. Jimmy Butler looked freaking great at the end.
Career high 40 points in the playoffs.
That's
It's a lot of points.
That's fantastic. My my favorite thing about Jimmy Butler, I think, is he is aware, even though he has that all-star caliber, like kind of title and like unofficial, whatever label, he's very familiar with the team. I think the players are all in sync. If you've been following the season before COVID, the regular season, it was probably the most fun I think it's been watching the Heat since LeBron got there. And then before that, like the rise of Dwayne Wade.
I would argue that it was since before LeBron got there.
I don't know, man. It was an awful lot of fun to watch. Like LeBron and Wade just like basically play backyard basketball, like fucking half court alley oops and
Yeah, absolutely. But as a lifelong Heat fan, what we've grown to expect from our team is we were always not the number one. We were always not the top dog.
We were always tough, and we were always, kind of making sure that we weren't stepped on. Mm-hmm. The East was the '90s. Obviously, unless you were Boston or who was really good, Detroit. I think Boston and Detroit were the best teams. So until Chicago ran everything, and then
We had that Reggie Miller, Indiana.
yeah, so that was fun. Watching today, I think Oklahoma and Houston started. Just watching everyone that used to be on that Oklahoma team, because our first championship with LeBron, we won against Oklahoma, and then the back-to-back was against Dallas
Yes,
or San Antonio. Dallas, and Did we three-peat?
No.
We won 3, but we lost.
Lost one in the middle.
That's what it was, yeah. It's 10 years ago almost. Crazy.
Yeah, it's
Crazy.
wild to think about. Yeah, I mean, I was at that parade for the Heat when we won.
Did you go to that?
Yeah, with
I don't even think I knew you back then.
Nah, I don't think so. But yeah, I remember going down to South Beach, waiting on Kai Ocho for them to roll through.
Yeah.
And that was the best, man.
Every state, no matter where you're listening from or what team you're in favor of, everyone, you know, when you watch them win, no matter what sport, there's usually a parade, but South Florida does it unlike any other. Mm-hmm. You know, we've seen it with the Hurricanes, we've seen it with the Marlins. I haven't been alive to see anything with the Dolphins. Hopefully I do before I die. Mm-hmm. I am okay with not, because I've seen the Canes win, I've seen the Heat win, I've seen the Marlins win 2 World Series. I can live without the Dolphins ever winning. You know, it's...
I mean, I'm not trying to be like a Cubs fan.
No, I mean, I don't want to be, but...
I'm not trying to wait 100 years and shit.
It's... Who knows? I don't know.
These fucking douchebags.
Well, the Buffalo guy, you know, he's already out of pocket. He's a Knowles fan.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I at least got to like watch the Knowles win a national championship. There is that.
I got to see famous Jameis throw the ball backwards against Oregon.
I mean, he liked doing that. Yeah,
that's a lot of fun. I'm really intrigued to see what he does in New Orleans. Honestly, I don't think he has the same.
What he does in New Orleans is going to be hold a clipboard.
I don't think he has the same kind of like bounce back that Bridgewater did, filling in the gap, because Bridgewater didn't lose a game, right?
No, he had lost game.
No, he didn't lose a game when Breeze went down.
When Breeze went down last year.
Correct.
Yeah.
He won all of his starts last year.
So that is...
I mean, I don't particularly expect to see Jameis play.
That's the guy you want as your second string, no matter what team you have. I just don't see the... So I bought Madden, EA Sports Madden 21. I just bought it. I haven't bought a Madden game, so I don't feel like one of those asshole... You know,
who buys the same one every year?
Yeah, who buys like the same like mild rendered, changed, version every year. I haven't bought a Madden game since probably... I'm trying to think who was on the cover when I got it.
I haven't had one since the Nintendo 64.
Oh, no. I mean, probably on the Xbox One, I don't think I've bought... I think it was like the 360 was the last one I had.
Yeah.
So at least 6 to 8 years. Mm-hmm. But I bought it, whatever... COVID has made me miss sports so much.
Yeah.
That I'm just like, even if I have to play it in a fucking game.
Yeah.
With like high resolution, I can at least get some kind of enjoyment out of that. And they added a bunch of things. They added like the yard. They already had the Ultimate Team, which is a pretty cool thing, but they added the yard, which is like a 6-on-6 now.
Yep.
And it's like backyard football, like NFL Street style. And you can like customize the player.
NFL Street was the shit, bro.
Minus the crazy like tackling and shit, but it's still fun to get on there and see the players. The Dolphins are excited about Tua. Tua's stats are significantly better than Fitzpatrick, and on the depth chart he's second, just because of
Yeah, I mean,
just because of situational breakdown. Yeah.
You mean the 22-year-old?
Alabama,
basically Heisman. He was right next to the Heisman, right? I think he finished third that 1 year,
more or less.
He probably would have won the Heisman if he hadn't destroyed his hip.
Yeah,
versus
Fitzpatrick, who's 35,
37.
I think
37.
He's old as shit.
With
5 kids, 7?
No, more than that. He's not
Phillip Rivers.
He's not Cromartie.
Well, I mean, Cromartie is like 31 kids.
We're talking about white guys with a lot of kids. Which there's a handful of them.
Yeah, I mean, I think Rivers.
There's some guys that just
Rivers
like
has the most. He's like most of the way to a football team right now.
Straight up baby factory. Like, your job is to produce kids.
Yeah,
and that's it. They're gonna wear my jersey for family photos. Mm-hmm. Even if I play for 8 different teams.
I mean, like Fitzpatrick could legitimately do that, right?
He could probably.
He's played for like 8 or 9.
A different team jersey.
Yeah, have every kid wear a different jersey.
Oh, that's the ultimate flex, though.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate.
I mean,
flex.
he's played for like a quarter of the football teams.
Is it you're that bad or you're that good that many teams take chances on you? Because right now we're gonna wait and see. Leonard Fournette just got cut today.
Yeah,
and all of the insiders that have reported on it have basically said Jacksonville couldn't get goddamn shit for him.
Yeah,
not even a 6th round.
Yeah.
Well, they just traded their star defensive end for like a 3rd round pick.
A 3rd and a 5th.
A 3rd and a 5th.
But like he was also like disgruntled.
Well,
he made it very clear that he was never going to play a game for them ever again.
Well,
not
they had
just
given
that,
him
but
the franchise tag, right?
He's injury
Yeah.
prone. He's injury prone. His contract is atrocious. So
wait, are we still talking about Ngakoue or Fournette?
Fournette.
Okay.
So you're talking about, I don't even know who, waiver claim wise, I don't even know who would be able to, I don't know who could take him.
I mean, there's also the
who could
there's
afford him?
Well, anyone can afford him because he's been cut.
Yeah, because
so like
he's
they
a
can
free
sign him
agent.
to whatever. But like you've got Jadeveon Clowney still hasn't been signed by anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
And the thing that I hadn't thought about until today is part of the problem maybe that like Earl Thomas also hasn't been picked up.
That's true.
Is part of the problem also that like teams don't want to suddenly put someone into their bubble that has been outside of a bubble?
You know, I would say we would have to be on the inside to know.
Because like, how has Clowney not been signed by someone, even to a 1 year deal?
Yeah, and he's old enough for a veteran's like minimum right now, right?
But he's in his prime,
not to
so
say that.
he's
Yeah.
asking
But-
for significantly more than that.
But that's the point. Even if
Yeah.
you were to pay him shit to
And
get him on the team,
Maybe the problem is that he's like demanding a certain amount of money, and no one wants to give that to him.
I can see that. I can see
think that
he's not going to get
with the
buku dollars, but he can definitely get
Yeah.
for a team like Carolina or a team like Jacksonville, they
Yeah.
could pay him. They could
Yeah.
pay him. The Dolphins could pay him.
They have the cap space. Absolutely. I mean, I don't remember specifically what Joey Bosa got the extension or Nick?
Yeah, Joey Bosa.
Joey
Chargers.
got
Joey,
a
yes, he did.
record-setting extension. And like, you really telling me that fucking Houston wouldn't sign Leonard Fournette for a couple $1 million a year? They're going to be starting David fucking Johnson.
Which on the depth chart, it's D and J for Duke and David, and it's like
Yeah.
we had.
And he hasn't had a good season in 4 years.
How about Lamar Miller being third string on the Patriots? He still has a job. He's got like 2 bad knees and ankles.
right?
Yeah, that's a lot of that's.
It's just odd that
there's a lot of what the
that
fuck's
many
going on right now for sure.
particularly good players that have not been picked up by someone.
I would not want to be an NFL GM.
I mean, I would
wouldn't
like to be an
want
NFL
that
GM. I would. You
Right.
get paid a lot of money.
Do you?
You do.
I don't know. Dude.
No, you do. It's a well-paying job.
I mean,
Yeah.
think about the cause and the effect of the position, and if you do well, how much revenue that brings to even in a small market.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
to me, it's the significant thing is
If
the
everyone
job
in
security.
your state buys your jersey,
Right.
and come or fucking goes to the game or whatever.
Well, all that revenue goes to the team.
Sure, but it's still great for the state and the city and et cetera, because a lot of that money
Well, and there's taxes on all that shit. So
for sure. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see how that plays out, man. I am excited. I just hope we just had our draft. Steven and I were in.
I'm sorry. Did you mean the doc sauce?
Steven and I, the duck sauce. We're in the same. We're in 2 of the same drafts, but we just had one of our big live drafts. It's the Big Boy League, the one I waited fucking X amount of years to get in, and
It took me about 5 years to get in.
So, and you had to split to get in. So, but anyway, we just had our draft, and it was interesting, man. Like, it's exciting. I tried not to overthink the draft even up until the day, because I'm not 100% sold that there's going to be an entire season, let alone half of a season.
Oh yeah, no. I put the over under at 10 games.
So it's one of those things where everything else has been fucking chaos. We're already looking at playoff projections for baseball, and they just,
Baseball's been a hot fucking mess.
It has.
Hot
Yeah.
mess, bro. Players
they
dropping
can't stop.
down.
They can't stop.
man.
They can't stop getting fucking COVID.
Rescheduling games.
And we
yeah.
understand that right now. It's one of those things where we're realizing that the success rate is high, and a lot of these people that are getting it are pre-existing conditions and whatnot. But
yeah, but like whatever. There's
point is,
it's very clear there's a way to do it.
The point is,
it's called having a bubble.
Well, it's having a bubble, but you also don't like these players don't know. They don't know if they're asymptomatic or not. Even if the team is requiring them to test, let's just say, because I read an article.
But like, how many NBA players have tested positive since?
Well, there's NBA players that are testing positive, and they don't even like pay attention to the results. It's just, can I play or not? So that kind of carelessness, although the NBA is the one structurally keeping the integrity together of the entire situation, there's so many there's 50. What is after 4 preseason weeks? There's what you got to cut
53-man roster.
Yeah, dude, that's insane. That's a lot of fucking people. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of people per team. That's not including the coaching staff. That's not including the athletic trainers.
Well, what's interesting, what happened in baseball is the Cleveland Indians had a bunch of guys test positive, and they were able to attribute that to a couple pitchers going out and partying in one of the places they were playing. The rest of the team, like, turned on those dudes.
Yeah, I bet.
And they were like, yo, straight up, we don't want them on the team no more.
Sure. Like,
so the Indians just today traded one of their good young pitchers. I think he's like 25, 26. Zach Plezak, I think his name is. Good young guy. Like a normal guy you wouldn't trade on a normal
There was
season.
quite a bit of baseball trades today. Is there a deadline or something?
Yeah.
I'm just not paying attention.
Yeah, because it's baseball.
Well, don't get me wrong. I like baseball. I just prefer to watch baseball in the postseason.
Or like live in the stadium. But that's not an option right now.
That's also correct.
Postseason baseball I can do. Regular season baseball, not so much.
Yeah, so because they shortened the season, they shortened the trade deadline.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that trade deadline is,
I'm just not tracking on the time frame and or the dates.
So, good example, we're in South Florida.
Really?
The Marlins are our team. Technically, air quotes.
Yeah.
I mean, Buffalo doesn't have a baseball team.
They do this year.
It's the Canadian.
Yeah.
The Canadian.
Actually, I don't know.
Blue Jays.
I don't know if Toronto's still playing in Buffalo or not.
Probably not. The funny joke was if Toronto wins the World Series in Buffalo, is it Buffalo's championship or Toronto's?
That was the question that I had. Well, no, it would obviously still be Toronto's. The question I had posed.
Fuck that, dude. It's Buffalo's.
The question I had posed was if they won in Buffalo, does that break the curse? Because the city of Buffalo has never won a championship in any like the Big Four sports.
I'm still calling it the Buffalo Blue Jays. The BBJs. There is a good chance the Marlins are good.
So right now, if the season ended today, we'd be in the playoffs.
Yeah. Which is insane.
We have
considering the turnaround from
a losing record.
I mean, that's not a great look for baseball.
14-15.
Yeah, but
we're in the playoffs right now.
You got to understand where we were last year and the year before that.
Oh, sure.
I mean, but anyway,
we also play in the same division as the Mets,
who just spanks us every time. I think we beat them tonight, but
they're straight garbage.
Yeah, but guess what, man? The fucking Mets gives us the business almost every series. They win the series every time, especially in the regular schedule season.
Makes me super sad.
The baseball games that didn't get played the other day, did those get like postponed or rescheduled, or are they just canceled? The ones that were because of the protests? Rescheduled?
Yeah, so a good example is the Yankees.
Mm-hmm.
They had games in 2 days get suspended.
Mm-hmm.
They have to play 9 games in 7 days.
That's a lot of fucking games. Jesus.
So I think
some teams play at night and then they'll play the next day early, like 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
So I think it's 3 double headers in a week.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But it's, you know what? It's baseball.
No, I know.
They're doing that anyway in the regular season.
What do they do if the first game in a doubleheader goes to a shitload of extra innings?
Well,
the other game time gets pushed back.
Yeah.
They have to play them. They have to play them.
I don't think it gets pushed back if they're in different stadiums.
They could run out eventually, like, of days to keep rescheduling.
No, well, because MLB is playing
right
in the same stadium, if a game got
suspended... I thought they were playing in multiple different ones.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
they
there's a couple different diamonds, but like...
Okay.
Sure, if it was supposed to be Philly versus the Marlins in Miami, and that game got canceled, and then a week later they're playing in Philly...
I got you.
They would schedule the doubleheader and pretend that Miami was the home team for one.
Gotcha.
Oh, it's a mess.
Yeah.
We'll see how it plays out. What are something that we don't usually get to or talk about much? Let's talk about some film, man. Let's talk about some movies. I know that New Mutant was 17% on Rotten Tomatoes, so that's...
Yeah.
I listen.
I'll probably still watch it, but like...
I don't know if I'm going to even give it a chance. Because I am a huge... Despite the fact that we have not really talked about film on...
I mean, there haven't been fucking movies coming out.
Well, there hasn't been many films. They released 2 for opening, theater opening weekend, or Friday theater opening weekends, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, whatever.
But
the vast majority of theaters
everything's been like segued into streaming service platforms. So, and there's been a few decent ones that came out on Netflix and a few Hulu originals, etc. But New Mutants bombed.
Yeah.
The budget on that was incredibly high.
Well, and like there were warning signs because it was supposed to come out like 2 years ago, and they kept pushing it back.
Well,
and doing reshoots.
They redid the entire casting.
And the
entire we didn't keep 2 or 3 people.
It was fucked from the beginning.
And no offense to Maisie Williams, but she is the star, actress on the.
Yeah, I think the only other
on the billing.
The only other like well-known actress in it is it's what's her name? Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yeah, and
the girl from
and she's not
Split.
even. She's not even like. If that's your top,
there's
bill
not
cast,
much in the way of star power on it.
Yeah, if that's your top bill, not to say, I'm not like fucking pretentious. I don't need, I don't need.
Yeah, but like a shitty script is going to be a shitty script no matter what.
Except H.P. Lovecraft and Nicolas Cage.
I mean, that was a great script.
Because everyone's
was fucking fantastic.
I have not watched Lovecraft Country. Is that what it's called?
I haven't watched it yet either.
I have not watched it. I think they're on episode 3 as of yesterday, right?
I think so, yeah. The HBO show.
H.P. Lovecraft, super racist guy from the early 1900s. I just learned about this from you and Mike.
Yeah, we watched The Color Out of Space the other day. That's what that rickety transition was.
Mandy and Color Out of Space. Imagine an author who wants to write horror, and was it early 1900s?
Yeah, the Lovecraft stuff is early 1900s.
So and not necessarily popular. He became popular when someone else kind of a multitude of people kind of like looked into his work later, like 50 years later.
Yeah,
and so you're talking early 1900s. Imagine someone with even a brilliant mind or a mediocre mind or imagination, he comes up with his version of horror.
He was really good at writing about like what you would basically call indescribable horrors.
Right.
And because of that, a lot of his stories are generally considered to be unfilmable, which this Color Out of Space is one of them. It was generally considered to be unfilmable. But they did it, and it was really fucking good.
Yeah,
also, Nicolas Cage was fantastic. But that came out before before the Rona started. Yeah,
and these are movies that have been out for a while, and I think the guy who touched Mandy touched Color Out of Space, right?
So it wasn't the director.
Screenwriter.
It was I think the entire production, like the producers of it in the studio that was doing it, I hadn't realized it when we watched Mandy, but the studio is owned by Elijah Wood.
Oh, perfect.
By fucking
So
Frodo Baggins.
visually, a lot of fun colors, a lot of deep woods. You know, you got to think, right? Back in the 1900s, so he's super racist. The way that I read the breakdown of how he viewed his character breakdowns was there were like white folks, then there were the monsters, however he portrayed them, whether they be aliens or some kind of like force.
Right. Usually aliens or like elder gods or like
Cults.
Yeah.
Like a cult like mentality, people that were heavily into religion and stuff like that. And so he took
Catholic
that,
Church.
but then black people
Basically.
black people were past that.
Yeah, I mean he had a cat named the N-word. Like
Yeah, his cat was Hard R.
yeah, black cat named Hard R.
Hard R.
Yeah. But
I don't even know if he liked the fucking cat, but
I'm sure he didn't.
It's documented. And so, but anywho, Lovecraft Country apparently is like a big twist and a fuck you because
it's a good way of dealing with it.
It's celebrating.
Like I think the entirety of the like not just the cast, but like the cast, the crew, everything. Like it's all people of color, and it takes place in. It's
the 50s,
not.
I think,
yeah,
right?
yeah. It's like the 50s. It's pre-integration.
Right.
So like segregation's still a thing. And so like they are dealing with
Pre-civil
living
rights,
in,
yeah.
they're dealing with living in.
There's like scenes with like Jackie Robinson and
They're in the Northeast, like in probably either Rhode Island or New Hampshire.
it's a girl who goes back in time to find her dad
I think so.
when he was younger.
And they've got like they're dealing with both this like these indescribable horrors and being not white in the 1950s.
Right.
So yeah, I haven't seen any of it yet. It is supposed to be incredibly good.
So that's out.
Bill and Ted just came out.
Bill and fucking Ted.
I haven't watched it yet.
If you're not old enough to even understand Bill and Ted, I'm sorry.
Then you should go watch Bill and Ted.
Yeah, look it up.
You should fix it. Right?
Look it up.
Like the first movie is fantastic. It is also generally well regarded. And
Yeah, break down. So break down my question because I had this conversation with Brian and I was
Okay.
like, hey, how the fuck is there 3 after how 2 ended, but it's all time travel?
Yeah, I mean,
so it's
always
like
been time
X-Men.
travel.
It's like X-Men's like, oh, how is there another X-Men movie? Because there's
time
like
travel.
the X-Men
Yeah.
universe exists in like every parallel.
Yeah, man.
So that's incredible too. But
yeah,
but
wibbly wobbly, timey wimey.
right. So explain like for those who may not know,
I mean, the first one they go back in time to in order to be able to complete their social studies project on time, so they can graduate high school. Pretty sure. Second one, they die, and it's like entirely just them dealing with death.
Yeah, but they're trying to win a music competition.
They're trying to win a music competition because they travel to the future, and they find that the world is like a utopia because they won this music competition.
Yeah,
the Wild
butterfly
Stallions.
effect type thing.
And so they need to like make sure A, they don't die, and B, that they win the music competition. And I guess the third one is something to do with their kids. I've avoided the trailers. I haven't watched it yet, but I know it's got like over an 80% on Rotten Tomatoes, both on the critic review and the like audience review, which means it'll almost assuredly be good. I've seen like glowing reviews on Twitter from the film people that I follow on there, which I'm sure a part of it has to do with the fact that like it's fucking the end of August and movies haven't been coming out in a long time, and there are movies coming out now, even though you have to watch them at home.
Yeah.
But
well, just to give a little more background, these first 2 movies came out in 1989 and 1991.
yeah.
So there's a 19-year gap.
Yeah, I mean it's a huge fucking gap. Like that doesn't happen.
and the best thing is like Keanu Reeves still kind of looks the same. Like
Except like he actually, if you
looks
go back and
slightly
look at
younger.
the first one, his face, since they had him shave off his beard and he looks kind of
Right.
weird without it, his face kind of looks like
Well, he's
the
just
face
not
of his
John Wick.
dad in the
Yeah.
first movie. which
he's
is
just not
fucking
John
hilarious.
Wick. without the beard, which is what most people know his face as.
He actually looks older. Like, his beard evidently hides the fact that he aged.
Correct, he aged, but it's like it almost looked like someone put like a fat suit on him, but it's not.
Yeah.
Which is funny.
Yeah. No, he's unbelievable. I don't even know how old he is. He's got to be like in his...
He's in his like mid 50s, I think.
Right?
Mm.
Because like I just said, Bill and Ted, the first one...
Is he mid 50s? God damn. And, he started a trend with these like action films, especially with John Wick now, because I saw Kevin Hart on his Instagram doing a shoot, don't shoot scenario. And then I saw Halle Berry did it for John Wick 3. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like a lot of people are actually like, I guess I should probably learn how to really shoot, target, load, eject mag, reload, cock. Like it's one of those things because
took a minute to pull it up on Google, but yeah, Keanu Reeves is 55.
That is nuts.
Yeah,
he's aged very well, all things considered.
Yeah.
I don't know if he has like a track record like Rob Lowe, but Rob Lowe has been very sober for the majority of his latter years.
Yeah.
And so he says, but
didn't Rob Lowe kill someone? Like, isn't that why?
No, there was I thought
he killed someone in a like with his car. I thought it was like drunk driving. Yeah.
Oh shit, maybe.
I think it was a while ago.
I thought his issue was the drug charge and the underage girl.
It might be all of them.
It could have been all in one night.
Could be.
Which is another Tuesday for like everyone in the 80s.
Yeah, I'm excited to find out about that because he was real hot in the 80s.
Well, dude, he looks amazing. So the first time I really, really, really saw him like post 80s, 90s was Californication. It was a David Duchovny show.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to remember who Rob Lowe played in Californication.
He played the actor who was like just hell-bent on drugs and then got sober, but then like relapsed like so many times on the show.
Huh. Okay.
I think that's what happened in the show. He was just nuts. Like he was probably one of my favorite characters in the show. The show is phenomenal. If you're looking for a show to watch,
yeah, no, I fucking loved Californication.
Californication. I mean, if you're a dude, you're gonna love it because of all the women David Duchovny like.
And because David Duchovny is just great.
Well, he's awesome and he's super smart, but he just bangs so many hot women in like Venice Beach. But then on top of that, there's an actual like storyline that's relatively good and very humane in the sense of like what people deal with. Marriage, relationships, kids, etc. Yeah, great show. 7 seasons.
My like personal headcanon for Californication is that David Duchovny's character is actually literally the same character from the X-Files. That he retired from the FBI and became a alcoholic writer.
Yeah,
and
who just like
because he pretty much acts the same exact way.
It's like David Duchovny is the guy that everyone never knew they want to be, but never wants to be. Because
it's the guy you want to hang out with.
He's so nonchalant and just tired of everything.
Yeah.
Because he does have a one true love in the show, and he's trying to win her back. Then he gives up. She gives up. Things happen over a period of 7 seasons, and then he has a kid that grows. But he just casually pussy falls into his lap, and it's really wild.
Yeah, he's David Duchovny.
Yeah, but it's very regular and kind of lazy and drives a Porsche with one mirror missing and shit.
Yeah.
He's not high, star power, but he's good with his words. He's smart. He doesn't bullshit. So I guess that's a thing, but it's just, the show's just great. RZA's in the show. Mm-hmm. Megan Good. There's just so many high caliber actors and actresses that end up popping up. But anyway, that's one of the better Showtime shows that had a solid longevity. Weeds was another good Showtime show.
Oh, love that show.
Yeah,
love that show.
Weeds was excellent.
I had trouble. She was too hot.
She was too hot.
She was also casually hot. She didn't try to be, but she was.
No. Well, to be fair, it was someone else's job to make her be hot.
Mm-hmm. But even her.
That's always true.
Even her character dialogue, she was kind of nervous, and her, she was a widow. And
Sure. Did you have a friend in high school who had a mom like that?
Yeah, he had a
Maybe not
He had a friend
off
named
the
Stacy.
top
Her
of
mom
my
had
head,
it going
no.
on.
Maybe wasn't a big weed dealer or whatever, but she was kind of cute. And
well, there's kind of cute, and then there was her who was smoking hot, had a great body, big time like drug dealer.
well,
Not that
maybe,
that's hot, but I mean, I guess it could be if that's your thing. But
That's what you're into.
sure.
Yeah.
But what made me really hot for her was
Some
when
people
she
like
did
danger.
those,
Some people like danger.
boss moves. She was doing like gangster shit.
Sure.
eventually,
Yeah.
but there was a very real, like, transformation into that,
Sure.
and she
Well,
gets,
yeah.
and she gets fucked over a lot. She has to learn.
I mean, you gotta have character growth. Like, you can't start off being that person and then still have that many seasons. Otherwise, it'd be a boring show.
Sure. Then you end up with like what's that show? Shoot.
I don't know, man.
I don't know what that show is. There's so many.
I don't know. There are a great many.
Well, they're forgettable is the point I was trying to make.
Clearly, you made it. You made it very well with that.
That was a very good example.
incredibly pregnant
example.
pause.
Thank you guys. Thank you. I
Very good
appreciate you.
example.
Yeah.
So, we have a very unfortunate and shitty
Yeah.
segue here. R.I.P. Chadwick Boseman.
Fucking Black Panther.
King T'Challa. So many different things to talk about. You could be on any side of any kind of political spectrum scale. You could be a diehard Marvel fan. You could be a relative new fan to the modern day adaptations of the comic books into films. However, if we look at especially the things that are coming out, you know, I think he passed away 2 days ago.
Something like that, yeah.
More or less, things are kind of like unfolding and coming out from different people. He filmed like 4 or 5 films,
Including Black Panther.
including Black Panther.
While doing chemo. Like,
Yep.
how the fuck do you do that?
Well,
How do you maintain, like...
no one knew, right? No one
Right.
knew. Not only did no one know,
Yeah, I mean, he
didn't-
like, literally did the David Bowie.
he
Like,
did correct. He didn't fault or fail in
No, it
his
was fucking
roles.
great.
His speeches. I remember I remember his rise, and I watched it. We all watched it. I don't care how much. Like I said, I'm trying to make a point here. I don't care where you stand, you know, with Black Lives Matter. I don't care like what your preference is on any of that shit. We're talking about a human who they said it in his and the letter that they addressed to the public when he passed. It was his like life's honor to play the role of Black Panther, and you know, it could be one of those things that it's just a nice gesture, but I don't believe it for a second.
I mean, yeah, if he didn't believe in that shit, he wouldn't have still been filming those movies
Well-
while getting treatment.
I think the most powerful
I think he has
thing-
to. I think he has to. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. I think he has to because it's his job. 1, 2, he's a professional, and 3, he needs to make money like anyone else does. This is what he's doing. But
Yeah, he was a working actor.
but what I'm trying to say is the level of professionalism, the level of heart and emotion and effort that he put into every role while he at 39. His father passed from the same thing at the same age.
Yeah.
And
43.
he found, fellas, I'm 32.
Get your fucking prostate checked.
Get checked. You know,
Take care of yourself.
culturally in the African American community, I know this because of, you know, even with my father, and I just had this conversation with him. It wasn't until much later, my stepmother, she's the one that got my dad on track as far as the monitoring your health and utilizing the fucking medical advances that we have now.
Yeah.
It's not. I understand. My mother died from stage 4 lung cancer because she was from the mountains of Korea, and she believed drinking herbs and teas would heal her. So if there's anyone who understands the pain and the realness of what I'm saying right now, it's me. I understand. I lost my mother to this while I was in the military. It was away, and I got a Red Cross message, and the people who were in my life when this happened, if you're listening, you know exactly what happened, and I appreciate everybody.
And there's going to be a lot of people who have gone through the same thing.
And there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that go through this shit. But what I'm trying to kind of, throw out there as ammunition for you guys to put in your pocket and use is that you're never too healthy. You're never too anything to be safe. One of my favorite things that I try to remind myself every so often is that safety never takes a vacation. You can't get too comfortable because that's when things happen. You get relaxed, you get complacent. And, the older I get, because I have children, I guess that's life. When I was in my 20s, I was a lot more reckless. I think we can all attest to that. We still make stupid decisions because we're fucking people. But what Chadwick did, even finding out at 39 years old, I didn't know. I didn't know until I saw it. I didn't know. No one knew. I saw pictures years ago of him looking really skinny, and I thought it was just for a role. Yeah. Like Christian Bale, the guy who notoriously
and I mean, he was fucking ripped
and physical alteration
for Black Panther.
So to try to kind of stay on the same subject of Chadwick Boseman, what I appreciate most is Black Panther was an amazing role.
Yeah, it wasn't by any sense the most fantastic film. It's not even in my top 5 favorite Marvel movies. But the role
was perfect.
Was the most meaningful.
Yeah.
Well, I said this to Megan, but sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so what was the most impressive part of it was that's the big one for him.
Right.
But he also played Thurgood Marshall.
He did.
Yeah.
He played James Brown. Jackie Robinson.
Yeah,
I mean, he lived a life fulfilled. And for every little black boy and girl growing up who wants to get into acting.
See themselves on screen.
That's it.
Representation.
Or it's just the knowledge, the wealth. And he did it so he did it as if he knew he was trying to teach us something. And that's the biggest takeaway from all of this, listeners. It's not because I don't want to step on toes, because I'm not trying to use his death as an excuse to push an agenda, because that's everyone's fucking MO these days. Everyone thinks
and that's fucking gross.
Everyone thinks that everything has an agenda. No one cares about truth anymore. No one cares about facts. Everyone has opinionated facts, all right? But there's a difference between an opinion and a fact, and an opinion that you like versus a fact.
Yeah.
Okay? And we're not here to discuss who fucked the economy up, who did this, who did that. I know the flack. I remember to this day, I remember when Black Panther was coming out. I remember how many people fucking talk shit about it just because he was black, and so many black people went to watch the fucking movie. Good for them. Good for the movie. Good for the fucking black community. Like, there should never be a piece of anybody who hates or feels turned off because a certain body, or race of people, capitalize on something because it is what it is as far as the story arc is concerned, right? When we're talking about a portrayal for a role, it was a fucking made up goddamn place in Africa.
Yeah.
You can't really get any more thorough than that. And how hard they push the role and the costumes and the design, which was beautiful.
What I love is the background, the basis of Black Panther was based on the real Black Panthers. Stan Lee believed in equality. He knew.
I love people when they throw out some bullshit about how Marvel people are weird, man. I try not to believe everything that I see. There's things that I see, and depending on who it comes from, I will trust it more than most things. But I saw a very believable article about some of the writers for Marvel back in the day and how they like you know, like
they cared
segregation
about
era,
social justice, civil rights. That's like a big part. X-Men is all about being alienated.
100%. I was just getting ready to get to that.
X-Men is like Xavier is literally Martin Luther King, and Magneto is Malcolm X.
Yes, and it is not a coincidence. We're not saying that that's what it is because we're saying that that's what it is.
No, it's what it is.
People, you have to say that these days because people are so caught up. Idiots. People are caught up. Yeah, you know what? I understand that, James. I understand that people are assholes and dickheads and idiots, and people are fucking, too lazy to care, But everything is just one way now, and I am trying my best to bridge gaps because some people will listen, some people won't, but it is never your job, and you as in general, anyone, it's never your job to quit or give up on the fact that the main goal in anything, whether it's life, love, liberty, you don't stop fighting for yourself, your family, and your friends and people, right? Yeah. And I understand that clashes because of cultural differences and practices. And I have two very different cultures that make up me 100%. And it is chaotic. It is so different. Mm-hmm. It's so chaotic that both of these these backgrounds that I have, when I'm in the opposite arena, they both pick at me. If you don't know me, when I was in Korea, they would call me a nigger in Korean. Funny thing is, me and my brother spoke Korean fluently, at least understood it. My brother's better than I am in Korean. And I knew what the fuck they were saying.
Yeah.
So here I am. Well, guess I gotta fucking get into a fight now because I'm a kid and I can't let somebody step over me like that. That's how I grew up. And then here in America, in the hood, I grew up where outside of my black cousins, I got shit and flack because they would call me Mr. Miyagi or Ching Chong or whatever was fucking relevant back then. Jackie Chan, Jet Li, huge back then. And I'm like, first of all,
the best part is that's all fucking Chinese.
I mean, they're all Chinese, and everything's Chinese Korean. When you're Asian.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter if you're Vietnamese, Filipino, you're Chinese. It's just ignorance. But I understand that shit. Like, I understand it probably better than people who make fun of people.
Probably.
But the difference is, I could have went my whole life, and even when I was angry in the moment, I could have went my whole life being bitter and being angry.
Yeah.
Like some liberals are doing now, like some conservatives are doing now. Doesn't matter if it's against Trump. They're not listening to anything you have to say. It doesn't matter if you fucking type a book of facts. It's wrong.
Both ways. Or both sides.
It's both sides. It's both sides. And that is why my goal, honestly, is to let people talk, let people listen, let people learn. I've had an incredible amount of feedback. And thank you guys again, especially for you listeners that are very, committed to giving us our listens and our
pretty much
comments.
anyone who's
listening
to this point in this episode.
This is episode 6, and you haven't heard it yet. But while you're listening, this is going to be the 6th episode, and it will be, the latest episode in our very short, history as a podcast. And the beautiful thing about what we're doing here, outside of the fact that we all love to do this and sit down and talk, is that we know people actually listen and people care and people want to grow and be better than they were the day before yesterday.
Yeah.
People are tired of being tired. When you're tired of being fucking tired of your job or your whatever, your relationship,
the quarantine,
everything, quarantine. I've gotten so fucking lazy with my how diligent I was with, washing my hands. I've already started slacking on that. And then I started getting myself back into making sure.
Oh, you fool.
Like, perfect example.
My trick is that I do the entire Bene Gesserit litany against fear in my head from Dune. It like takes approximately 20 seconds to get through the whole thing.
Yeah.
And yes, Dune is coming out.
Looks promising.
We haven't gotten to see the trailer for it yet because Tenet isn't out yet in this country.
That shit's never coming out.
And except it did come out in other places, and it's got a trailer for Dune at the beginning.
Oh, I didn't know that.
There are people on the internet.
Why is it not releasing here? Legal?
No, it hasn't released here yet because there aren't theaters open, and the production company's like, we're not going to release.
I thought it got pushed back because they were still trying to like edit and reshoot.
No, it's been done. It's been done for months. They just like literally almost every month during quarantine, there's been a trailer for Tenet, wherein they say a release date at the end of it that is a month later than the trailer that came out before it.
And it's
been done the whole time. Yeah. It's just that they are waiting until theaters are open in America. For some reason, they keep having this thought in their head that at any given time, they'll be open in a month.
Yeah.
Which, like, they're not going to be open for 6 months.
That's Denzel's kid, right?
Well, to be fair,
Denzel's kid, David, whatever, Washington,
from Ballers. And, but to be fair, a month is a good window. If your structural integrity for a film company or whatever is based upon a month gap.
Yeah, but like here's the thing.
Because the licensing,
it costs them more and more money every time they have to push it back. Mm-hmm. And they're like theaters, even if theaters are open.
I think they're gambling. I think they're taking a risk on the quality of the film and how well they think it's
even if they are, that's what I'm going for. Even if they are open in 3 months, which they probably will be in some states, but not all of them. The theaters will be open at like 50% capacity. They're never going to make the money that they would have made if the Rona didn't happen, and so there's no point in them continuing to push back every month because it just costs them more money every single time.
Yeah, well, that's why you haven't seen too much of the marketing for it.
Right.
No, we have though. There's been
trailers.
Many different trailers for it.
Yeah, they had their initial marketing push.
It's weird because they stretch out the same 1 or 2 trailers and like. With maybe a third of different clips and.
I just keep seeing Buddy on the boat.
Yeah, John David Washington, Denzel.
Yeah.
Who played in the NFL?
Robert Pattinson.
Really?
Yeah, he was a running back in the NFL for 2 seasons.
Huh? For who?
Like very early.
Minnesota. Oh. He was like the 3rd or 4th string running back.
Sure. I think they actually joke about that on Ballers. Mm-hmm. Like, because he's on some quote unquote like Dolphins team. It's like the colors and everything, but it's not the Dolphins. It's like, crazy because like I think they even pull up to like the training camp in Davie and everything, but it's not quite the same thing.
There was a whole story where he was telling all his teammates that his dad was in jail.
The Rock couldn't even get the pool, but it got but season 2 got so much tighter. Like, as far as what they can say and not say as far as. Copyright and shit like that, but because like all the cars have blacked out emblems. Shit
yeah. I'm sure they have a much bigger budget for the.
Although it's not hard to tell a Lamborghini.
Well, yeah, no, you can tell. I mean, it's just like how they might.
You don't even have to be a car guy to know.
They might have a fucking bottle of Budweiser turned sideways in a movie. I saw this fucking. You know what it is?
Yeah, or a Jack Daniels bottle.
Yeah, it's like let's see who else sells a bottle of whiskey that is square.
That's like so. My buddy who used to. Like back in the day when people used to be, this is a totally off, when people used to sell like CDs, the Napster, LimeWire era where people made mixed CDs and stuff. Some of these kids have no idea the struggle of
starting to download a song at 9 o'clock at night and not being
56K
the next day.
Well, 56K, not even like pre-DSL, but 56K, and then you had one disc tray. Which was the only disc tray that could have a CDRW, not even a CDR, so CDR rewritable. And then that rewritable CD didn't even fucking work in most CD
decks, yeah.
Well, you would put it in your Discman in your car, and you would plug in the
put the tape in.
That's if had the wire hanging out of it.
It was trial and error for fucking everybody.
No, what I was a little bit better with it because what I did was I had this. It had to have been 5 pounds. It was a laptop, but it was like literally 5 pounds, and
It's Cisco.
had like at least 100,
Gateway.
maybe 150 MP3s on it. And I would put the cassette into the cassette thing and plug it in because it's just a fucking aux cable.
Did it play
plug it
through
into to the laptop.
Did it play while it was closed?
I had to keep the lid open like at a 15-degree angle
Before the cutoff.
but like that laptop existed just to stay in the car, and I like basically could play an entire library, which was great.
I must not have seen that laptop in your car because I would have taken that shit.
Dude.
Well, yeah, it was.
But here's the thing.
This was a '99 Explorer.
Here's the thing. We want listeners to like kind of like have a nostalgia factor here for a minute, because I still have one of the largest CD books out of anyone. So anyone who knows me knows how much I love music.
I mean, yeah, you also have literally a box of fucking DVDs.
Yeah, so film and music, but music is kind of like what saved my life. One day I'll go down and talk about that, but CDs were the thing. I made CDs for people. I made albums. I sold albums. Whatever. It's I guess I'm admitting that I'm admitting to committing a crime, but whatever. But listen,
Copyright is an issue, John.
it's an issue. So you can't prove it. I don't have any of them anymore. But it's funny because people who don't have any clue, especially kids, like I'm not even talking about 10 years of like actual. You know how many generations of iPods there are?
No
There's
idea.
so many.
I've never owned one.
So there's like iPods, and then iPod 1, 2, 3, iPod minis, and then iPod minis had different ones, and then there's like the iPod colors, and then there's like iPod like super minis that were like just this clip that you fucking had to plug in to even know what was on there, and it only had like play and pause and next on it. But that was like for the runners, for the athletes, right? Who wanted to like clip that on your armband or whatever. There are so many different iPod. Like you can take the first generation iPod and put like the last generation iPod before they combined them with cell phones. Mm-hmm. There's so many, but people have no idea the struggle of formatting MP3s, MP4s, WAV files, audio from Napster. Like it took like you wanted to download Eminem The Way I Am, and you wanted to put let's just say hypothetically, I don't know, the Eminem Show on an album. Took forever, right? I was one of the first people in high school that I knew that had like a fucking 10-disc just tower. And it was just all to burn CDs, right? But MP3. And this is when car units were starting to get the ability to read rewritable CDs.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because before it all had to fit on one CDR.
Right.
That fits exactly what I was into. I had gone to Swap
And
Shop.
if you had a 6-disc changer,
the Swap Shop.
if you had a 6-disc changer in the back,
exactly where I was going. I went to the Swap Shop, got me a 6-disc changer.
Nice.
I had it in the back of my.
you kids have no idea the struggle
Kia
it was
Rio?
just to listen to music.
Nice.
Just to listen a Geo Metro.
No, Kia Rio.
I know, I heard you.
Basically.
Almost as bad as the
Basically.
Geo Metro. Like it was pretty fucking close.
A buddy of mine in high school did literally own a Geo Metro.
Dude, Geo Metros
That's
were
dope.
like, if that was my first car, I can't even talk shit, because I grew up with I grew up never owning a car till I was an adult. But all my friends had cars, which was good enough for me. I didn't
I got from point A to point B. Back then, what you're talking like early 2000s?
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah, as long as one of your boys had a car, you just get
yeah.
them where you needed to go.
Yeah, I mean, and all your friends had relatively the same schedule as you, so it's not like, it's like, hey, dude, what are you doing?
Football practice ends at 5.
Well, if all my friends played sports, we all played basketball or sports. Like it didn't matter which. I had friends, so being black and Asian, I had like the Korean friends who were nerds and played StarCraft, and in Korea you have to beat the dad if you want to date the daughter in StarCraft. But also, if you are interested in like, I don't know, most PC, like back then it wasn't too many Age of Empires, fucking I'm trying to think.
Command and Conquer.
The original Warcraft.
Yep, the Warcraft games, the StarCraft
It's just called
games.
Warcraft.
Warcraft, Orcs and Humans.
That was it.
Came out in like 1993.
I actually got the PlayStation version because it was like cool to have it on a console. Because on the console you can save it to the memory card.
Now I'm forcibly remembering the terrible fucking StarCraft port that came out on the N64. It was like literally the worst thing ever.
Oh yeah.
Trying to play a PC like real-time strategy game.
Actually, pass me that bottle.
Yeah, PC real-time strategy game with a controller and basically trying to control what would be your mouse cursor.
This is like
just with the little joystick.
If you don't know what it was like to get a home desktop in a cow box.
Yeah, cow box. Yeah, man. Gateway.
And you know what I'm saying? This might be before your time. And then I'm also talking about Joe Cartoon, Rotten.com.
Yep.
Those kind of things.
Homestar Runner.
My big thing is if you never died
Coffee Break Arcade. Am I the only one doing
Nah, I remember.
If you never died of dysentery in a video game,
right?
That's way before. Yeah. That's
you're too young for me, bro.
Dysentery. Yeah.
That seems like a good line. Like, if you don't know what dying of dysentery is,
I got finagled by a phone
if they
app.
think dysentery means that you insulted a dude named Terry,
dysentery, dude,
yeah.
that's really good for you. That's pretty.
Thanks for the delay. I like it.
That's good.
Yeah.
I had to like stop and.
you had
it's
to,
rare.
like,
It's rare. It's rare when like a white guy is like really good with like the.
I mean, sometimes I am.
Dysentery.
Yeah.
Put it in reverse, Terry. What you doing, Terry? You remember that?
You done fucked up, Terry.
You done fucked up, Terry. Terry, what you doing, Terry?
Terry, don't do that. That's 5 to 10.
That's one of my favorite videos. But yeah. So if you don't know the struggle, man, oh my god, dude, I remember getting like 90% done, 2 hours for a fucking one song.
Yeah. Right.
And then
like 3 megabyte MP3.
and then like 97% because you could play like with LimeWire you could play as you were downloading.
You could do it with BearShare as well.
Yeah. Napster in the beginning you couldn't. It had to be completed.
Right.
But LimeWire you were able to play the track. So because file sharing, we all became very savvy after all of our computers got contaminated with viruses and malware, before malware, spyware. And you learned about checking your file sharing, your P2P, right?
Yeah,
and positive rating P2Ps, like, you know, the Pirate Bay and whatever, uTorrent, whatever was out there. But you learned, you know, you could spend 6 hours trying to download like a porn or something when you were a teenager.
And now you got a virus.
And then you got a virus, or it took like all day and you went to like, I don't know, fucking whatever you did all day, came back and it's almost complete. You go like eat, you come back, and it's a corrupted file.
Yeah.
Son of a motherfucker.
Right? Where you like, you open it up, and it's actually just a freeze frame of Goatsy the whole time.
Oh, trolling someone in LimeWire with your files?
The early form of rickrolling.
Man. You could really get someone.
The internet is dark and full of terrors.
Oh, yeah.
Goatsy or Meat Spin or Blue Waffles, Lemon Party.
Well, that's what I appreciate, like, my age. My first time looking at porn was in a magazine.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, I think we all... Boys are funny, all right? So before we get into, like, too much information, boys...
I think we're
based off of
balls
my...
deep into that
based
territory.
Based off of my entire... life and experience with people, male and female. That's all I dealt with in the 90s. There wasn't all these other genders and whatnot. So whatever the hell you want to be or claim, I dealt with people who made it very clear that boys are typically the freakier ones and they start earlier. So I had older brothers. I was the youngest. And I was probably 10 years old when I first came across like any of that shit. And it was always magazines. It was always like
Sure,
the Sunday paper, and it was like the fucking lingerie. It wasn't even lingerie. It was like the bra section of Kmart. And that was like the first time you could see skin, like true skin and like cleavage or like, goddamn, I don't know what that is, but they look big and nice. And those are like two sets of like maybe, push up B cups.
Yeah. I was very fortunate. My dad
So funny. Boys are weird.
bought Playboy for the articles or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, all of our parents had that shit.
I mean, it was actually
That's what he told
important
me.
journalism,
Sure.
but that it was like the running joke.
there was like legit articles in those magazines though.
Oh, yeah.
There are a lot of like important writers from the 70s and 80s who were first published in like columns in Playboy.
Sure. At some point, the Jackson Janet Playboy magazine I had.
Janet Jackson.
You mean Janet Jackson?
Yeah.
You said it
You
backwards.
said Jackson Janet, which could be a great porn name.
Go home, Doc Sauce. You're drunk.
So Janet Jackson, once those pages eventually got stuck together, I only had articles to read.
Was that you or your brother?
No,
Yes.
it was for sure me.
Oh, well, that sucks too. You learn very quickly not to do that because that page is forever ruined.
Right?
Forever unclean.
Yeah, no 13-year-old now knows that stress.
Anywho, because we've dove into the grossness that is adolescent boys and preteens, I think most of us are very grateful with the ease and the, without saying too much, everything is very accessible nowadays.
You are thanking the world for the advent of Pornhub.
I mean, because we have been the true test and grinders of, not grinder. Let's just take that word away.
Right?
We are the true essence of trial and error as far as living and going through the change.
Some people got to explore the wild, wild west.
Yeah, man,
when
kids got fucking 4K porn
We
nowadays
got to
on their
explore the
smartphones,
internet.
okay?
Yeah, I would
yeah.
like to give thanks to the people that came before us.
We had Cinemax, and we had that. Like, if you had cable or you stole cable, you had that channel that was fuzzy with the waves.
Yeah,
and
the wavy
you
porn
could like
channel.
make out. You could like. I was like, oh,
That was like almost a tip.
like I think I see a tit. I see a tit. No, that's a nipple. Wait, that's a nipple. It's like American Pie. They did it in American Pie when Jim was like rubbing one out in a sock.
Yeah.
And it's, dude, that is not just a movie. That was pretty much kind of how it was growing up for us. And the ease of kids now having, even the fact that iPhones can iPhones can do like Adobe and like just everything. So there's no reason to be angry or upset because everything is accessible now.
Yeah, it's
So,
2020.
You heard it here first. No
heard
one
it.
has any reason to be angry because there is 4K porn for free on the internet.
Everything is
Yeah.
dangerous. Anyway,
Thanks for that.
we love you guys. We are going to wrap up. We have a lot of things coming up.
One should always wrap up.
Always wrap it up. You know what? I don't even give a shit what you do.
Good segue. James.
Whatever you do,
Right.
you want to wrap it up or not, because the truth of the matter is, people, this is another one of my favorite sayings, people will always lie to themselves, but you can't lie to God. I say that all the time. I don't care if you're a believer or religious or whatever or not. I'm like, man, you can lie to me all day, bro, but you can't lie to God, okay? And everyone's just like, well, damn, maybe, all right, well, I'm not.
I can. Watch me.
I'm not lying. I'm like, dude, I don't care. The point is for you to think about it and forever think about me whenever you do something and you lie. Because it's like, oh, anyway, we're wrapping up.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great things coming content-wise. We have so many special guests, not to boast or brag.
Yeah.
But we're happy and proud, and we're thankful and humbled, keyword, and probably the biggest thing. We are humbled at the fact that people have, one, reached out and responded so well about, especially our last two guests. Shout out Bearded Beekeeper, shout out Tomahawk Axe Throwing Company. You guys paved the way and we have people lined up. Some exciting things.
Far more exciting than the doc sauce.
Far more exciting than just us talking about whatever. But we are excited, man, because this is a learning curve and a process for us as well. I'm very passionate about what we do. We love talking about things that I think people talk about, or at least think about, you know, whether they have the actual discussion or not. And we always want to be in a place where we learn and grow. And what's up?
No, just make sure y'all comment. Y'all let us know if y'all want us to talk about something. Y'all tell us you want us to talk about something.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Steven is going to be a quote unquote official, unofficial regular. So Headhunter James and I, we are the primary guys, but Steven is going to fill in and pop in, you know, as much as he can with his schedule, because he's also working and busy.
When you got to fill in, you use the doc sauce.
Yeah.
Filling voids.
I'm never letting that go. It's duck sauce. Do you say, can you throw an extra duck sauce for my egg rolls?
Absolutely, every time.
That's fantastic. I love it. Anywho, thank you guys. Please like, comment, share. Let us know what you think. Let us know things that you may want us to talk about. I know a few of you have reached out to me personally, because I think you have this like train of thought as you're listening and you don't want to forget. So you text me or you message me. Please comment, like, share, and until the next episode, stay tuned. We got some fire guests coming. I cannot wait. We may even have some back-to-back special guests and just fucking go video episode, because
maybe even 4 people in one episode. Who knows?
That's going to happen as well. That's going to happen too. We're growing and we're getting better and stronger. We're listening to your critiques. A lot of you have pointed out a lot of things as far as, you know,
what we suck at,
and what you think we can be better at, and whether or not we agree or disagree, we love it. We want feedback, and we thank you. We love you.
Yep.
And until next time, we are out this bitch.